am Negan.
I am Negan.
What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of I Am Negan, a TWD Universe podcast. And tonight's episode is for the return of Fear the Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 8, The Door. I'm Adam Vale, and tonight I'm with Richard Bailey Jr. What's up, Rich?
What's up, Adam? What's up, listeners and viewers?
Yes, listeners and viewers indeed. Thank you for all the support. Thank you on YouTube. Thank you for iTunes and Spotify for following. It's fun. That's it. I'm just glad that people are still supporting the product of just The Walking Dead, the universe itself, because why not? It's been forever, right? This is just part of life for me. I was telling somebody, I was like, this is like a novella that just keeps going on. You know, those old ones, they just never end. But as long as they keep it fresh and they keep changing it up, and that's what we love about Fear. Fear, I feel with some of the hardcore listeners that I have friends of that follow the main mothership, as we would say, for Walking Dead proper, they don't really jump, or they didn't really jump on Fear, or they were hit or miss. They're like, I was in, and then some people left. It was like, yeah, a lot of people left. But they have a group of supporting cast members, and then as you've seen, some familiar faces that came over from Walking Dead proper. So it's one of those things. But I'm telling you, people, and Rich and I, we've been telling some of the other people, got to jump in on Fear. Fear is great. Mm-hmm. If there's a lot of things that you miss, like the edginess that was in Fear of Walking Dead proper, that's still here in Fear. There's a lot going on. So, you know what? Let's just dive into it, because I really hope you guys watched it. If you didn't, then come back, because this is all about spoilers. There's a lot that we're going to start off with. So, 3, 2, 1. Boom. They killed Cowboy John. What the hell, man? They killed Cowboy John. Oh, my Lord. I could not believe this. Like that. Man, that hurt. That hurt, Rich. It hurt because here it is. As we saw, the episode starts off strong. We see, for those quick recap, you guys already know, but if you don't, if you remember, he split off from June. She was going to stick with Jenny and them, because Jenny said was going to give her a hospital, and he's just not buying it. He saw what happened with Janice and all that. He's just not buying it. So if you remember the last scene of the last episode, there's that fork in the road. The truck and the crew go to the left. He went solo to the right. Well, we see him, and he's over in a little cabin living his own life. And he's still a badass with his 6-shooter over here. He's just shooting dead-eyed on all these walkers that were near his cabin. But at the same time, he's sort of suicidal, which confused me with that whole thing. Because it's like, well, yeah, think about it. You finally get your wife back, right? The wife is back in town. And yeah, you saw what happened with Janice and all that thing. Yeah, but you got your wife back. There's something to live for. And then here it is, he splits off, and now he's about to commit suicide. Did you understand that scene? Like, did that make any sense to you, to see him suicidal?
The only thing I can think of is the ultimatum that he gave her, where he said he wanted June to come with him, and he wanted them to escape together. Mm-hmm. So I guess because that didn't happen, he lost it, and he just said, well, I don't want to live if I can't have my wife right next to me, so... I guess that's what he just figured. He didn't want to fight, didn't want to engage and start anything with Jenny. He just didn't want to go back.
Oh man, but he went to the extreme. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
he went to the extreme.
He definitely went to an extreme.
An extreme. But you know what? They threw a lot of curveballs. Some of it made some sense, and others was like, what the French toast, because this doesn't even add up. And we're going to get right into that, what the French toast, because right after he starts killing some of these walkers, he's just looking around at different shacks, and who does he find? He finds Dakota, which is Jenny's sister, and with Morgan, and Morgan's her, and I'm like, what's going on here? This was not, also the last time we saw Morgan, he was fighting some other dudes on the road. He had his dog with him, and he found the key and all that stuff going on. So I'm like, they didn't even really explain it. They just said, "Oh yeah, we came across each other on the road. We were trying to fight some walkers on a bridge, and this is what's going down, and we need help. We were separated from everybody else, Felicia and all of them, and yeah, that's what's going on. We need your help." That made no sense, and I don't know. I wasn't sure where they were going with this, and again, I'm giving a lot of from this show and Walking Dead proper, we have to give them a pass because of the Rona and filming and things that they probably wanted to, didn't have time. Maybe they wanted to do a nice tie up, but they couldn't do it. And they're like, all right, we don't have the time, but we can definitely film this stuff now. So let's just get to it.
I think that's exactly what it is, because that's a scene that we definitely should have seen. So I guess they decided, because from what I understand, when they took the break for the shutdown, it was right at the last episode. So this was when they came back to filming. This was the first episode that they shot. So I guess they decided that they wanted to avoid, maybe they couldn't have so many people on the set at the same time, or maybe they're just saving that big battle to the end of the season.
Maybe. I mean, anything's possible, but it was just, whatever. It just didn't. It threw a lot of question marks, and I was a little iffy on the episode once that started. I'm like, oh no, you're gonna do one of these things where none of this makes sense. But no, that wasn't the case. You got Morgan. He's telling John what's going on and their plans of what they're trying to set up with his other community. And he wants John to join him, but John has that's the other thing. He brings up at this point, he has other goals. There's other things he wants to do. He doesn't say, oh, by the way, one of my goals is to kill myself. He says that he has other unfinished business that he needs to handle. And no, he's not going along with him. He's not doing it. He's got other things he needs to do. And that sort of made little to no sense to me, because I'm like, the last thing we just saw was you pointing your gun to your jaw. But now you got this other motive. And so while they're going back and forth on this whole little situation here, they have to stay quiet because it turns out that one of Jenny's rangers is approaching the location there. So they hide, they stay quiet. Guy looks around, doesn't find anything, gets on the walkie. There goes that. He leaves. All right. Now, I'm trying to remember, was this before or after? I think it was right after that is when Morgan then gets on the walkie-talkie because Jenny is calling him. And he doesn't want to pick up, and then he hears a familiar voice, and it's Grace. We see Grace. We hear Grace. We saw that she was alive in the mid-season finale, but now we actually hear her voice. She says, "Hey, yeah, I had the baby. Baby's cool. 7 months has gone by. Everything. We're okay. Everything is fine." And then she was like, "Oh, you see, so everything is cool now. Now come out, and bring my sister. I know you better be taking care of her and that whole thing." And he's like, yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll let you know what's going on. Because he's trying to come up with a plan. But and then as we saw from right after that, once she hangs up from the walkie, we see within the cell with Grace, we see Felicia and everybody and Daniel. That's it. They're all locked up.
Yeah. So she has them all captive now in one place, with the exception of the others that are still out roaming, Dwight, Alicia, and the others.
Yep. Dwight, Al.
Yeah, Al too.
Yep, Al too. Yep. Oh, that's right, Felicia. She's over there. Yep, they're over at the compound. Well, not the compound, or whatever that. They're their new community. So, so then that whole thing was going on. So then he was like, listen, Morgan's telling John, we need your help. We want to get this... whatever, they want to get through a bridge. They want to get over a bridge. And when I saw the bridge, and I get that this was a key part for this episode, right? A lot happened on this bridge, but come on now, there's other ways you can get around because you didn't even have a vehicle, so it's like you could have just walked through the stream or did some, I don't know, because the other little issue I had is that at the same time, at this moment, while they're looking around for a vehicle to get across, we find out that this is where John grew up. Like, he's like, oh, my dad, that's my dad's truck over there. Because I was like, what's this rusted thing? Oh, that's my dad. I was like, again, this Fear the Walking Dead, and sure, why not World Beyond? There's only another season of that crap, but still, why not? Show us a proper map. Show us what's going on, because here it is. We knew that they were in that town with Jenny, and now he's off in the boonies somewhere. But all of a sudden, John is in his home area, his hometown, and where his dad was, and the truck and stuff. And it just so happened that he bumped into Dakota and Morgan. It just seems too close, and it's the same issue we had with the last, the episode before last of Walking Dead proper, when Daryl went on his adventure looking for supplies. On the bike, yet at the same time, you got Carol that can just walk back to Alexandria. So it's like, you didn't really need the bike then. We don't know. And then that popped up in my head at this point. And maybe I'm nitpicking, but it just bothers me. I'm like, just show me a map. Take out a map. How far are you? Could anybody, and clearly they're not that far, because we had Jenny's goons show up. Remember, the one that was walking around? And then at the same time, that guy still stayed around, and next you see he throws a rope around Morgan's neck, and then poof, starts dragging him off. He's just dragging him off. And so we got Dakota, and she's trying to get into the car to start the car up because they were working on it, and she can't seem to get it started. And John, who never misses a shot with his 6-shooter, he's missing some shots. And hey, this is a moving target. It's going to be hard. Yeah. There's trees and stuff. But then he takes out his rifle and he aims down, and one shot, pop. And you see that body fall off. He catches up to him, he takes out his 6-shooter, and he puts that guy down. He just, that was a straight headshot. And I know some people will be like, man, is he getting ruthless? I was like, no, I don't think it was a ruthless act. I think it was more of, he knows this guy's going to turn into a walker.
So yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's one of those. It wasn't like this is vengeance. It's like, no. I think this is just to make sure that this guy doesn't come back, for his second coming.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, and that is, that essentially was what was the theme of this whole episode, because John did not want to, he wanted to just stay by himself, isolated in that cabin. And Morgan kept saying, "No, I need you." And he even talking about, because I know John did not want to kill anybody, but he had to when he saw that they, hogtied Morgan. So it's like this whole episode, this guy was getting forced into needing to be a part of this.
Yeah, and even after he saved Morgan, he says this doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
he says the only thing I'll do, I'll help you clear the bridge. We'll help you clear the bridge, and we'll move on from there. So, they find a picture of the dad, and I think he said that was not him in the picture. He's like, oh, is this you and your dad? He's like, no, that's not me. That's my dad, but that's not me. Like, my dad skipped out on us. He left, never came back, type of thing. But then again, he's like talking about he wants to live alone in that cabin, like you said, but at the same time, he does want to cause vengeance. He wants to kill some other people, the other people that he felt he should have killed before. So it's very confusing, the dialogue, especially with, like I keep thinking back, he was about to kill himself. He was about to commit suicide. So
I do have one other theory also. I believe that it also definitely bothered him that he was unable to solve the crime that took place. The whole that I'm pretty sure that is why he felt that he failed, as a police officer.
Janice and with her boyfriend, the other ranger.
Exactly.
And that really bothered him. Yeah, and that's the thing I don't remember about that whole handle of the knife, and he was like, yeah, I'm looking for the blade for this, and it's like, oh, I didn't remember that part as being a key to it, but yeah. So so we'll just keep going with this. So then as you see, like the title of this episode was The Door, and he starts taking doors and puts it on the front of a truck. So he's making like his own like battering ram with these doors, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. Why not? It sounds creative, So he attaches it and he says, right, this is the plan, because Morgan is still hurt. He can't. But the thing with Morgan is he's still carrying that big axe that he got from the bounty hunter, and he uses the bottom piece as it's pretty much like he would use his staff for poking stuff, but then he has the axe, and he's pretty cool with it. Usually that's a two-handed weapon, but he's swinging around with his right arm. So the plan is Morgan stays in the pickup part of this truck. Dakota drives slowly, and then we have John on the front, just clearing the way. He's gonna help him chop off some of these walkers and then take them down and do that whole thing to get through the bridge. So they get started on this. And I was like, at first I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's see how this goes, because it didn't seem like it was going to be too troublesome. But then they spice it up. Something goes wrong with the truck. So then they get stuck. And the coolest thing, I don't think I've ever seen this in Walking Dead proper or in Fear or any of these, where you have a walker stuck in the rear tire and getting grinding up. So it was like, at first it sort of made sense. I'm thinking, I was like, oh yeah, well, if you're killing all these walkers and they're getting under and it's getting mushy, then yeah, you're gonna have trouble moving forward, because it's like almost being in sludge, just being in mud. But no, you see like the walker body, and it's like he keeps revving, she keeps revving, and he's like, all right, now try to go in reverse, and she's trying to, and it's just ripping up this walker, and you see the head bouncing. I was like, this is cool. I've never seen that one before. So
yeah.
That was cool. So then John gets out, and he crawls to the hood of the car. Now there's space, as we saw, like he has the doors that he's using, almost like the way you would see a pickup truck when they put the big snow plow on the front. So there is some space, and then he crawls up, opens up the door and the hood, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and he sees that he has to do its own little rewiring. But there's one walker that's getting very close to him. And she does have a gun. He gave her, Dakota, a pistol. So she takes the pistol out and through the window, she kills him. Good shot. John is able to push him out of the way, get the car started, gets back in, and then they keep moving. But then there's just walkers all over the place. So she just says, hold on. She tells Morgan to get down so he doesn't fly off. And she just rams right through a bunch of them and pushes a whole group of them right into the water, right off the bridge. All right. So that was all right. That was an interesting scene right there. And then, of course, after that, there's only like 2 or 3 stragglers, and then they handle it. So we get back to this whole dialogue again with Morgan and John, and Morgan was like, we need you, come along. He's like, I'm not doing it, this is not happening, sorry. And so then he's like, all right, and Morgan gets on the walkie and then tells Jenny, oh, come meet me, and I'm at this what was it? It was like the grocery store or whatever, like one of the little...
The cabin.
The cabin. But she called it something. He called it something. But yeah, it was a cabin. Basically, the hideout that was for John. He just called it out. I was like, no, this is where we're at. Your sister's here. Everything is cool. Just come here. And he flipped out. He's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? And he was like, hey, this has to be done. You can't keep running from things. We need you. You need this. Da, 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 da. So then he wanders off. I don't know where. Did Morgan say where he went? He definitely need to be off scene, off camera for what was about to take place. But I don't know. He was just gone at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he had to clean up the cabin for Jenny and them. Who knows? He's gone. All right. So we got John and Dakota doing cleanup. Right? They're just walking around the bridge. They're just making sure everyone's dead. At this point, they're doing just small talk, and I'm thinking Dakota's gonna get bit. This is what's going to ruin everything, right? I'm like, Dakota's going to get bit, and they're going to be like, shit, what do we do? Because this is going to be the trade. We're bringing Dakota. We're going to try to get Grace, and now we can't do it. We're losing our leverage. Our bargaining chip is now infected. But that doesn't happen. They tease it. She gets grabbed by one of the walkers, and she screams, and when John goes to approach, no need. She takes out a knife, puts it down. He was like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm okay. He's like, what's that? And I thought maybe he saw something like on her calf or something. I was like, oh, maybe there is a scratch or something. We've seen them do this before, The Walking Dead. But no, she's hiding the blade. She has the blade that killed that ranger friend of his that was with Janice. And he was like, don't tell me this. Don't tell me this. And she doesn't say anything, but he's like, oh, I don't believe this. Why'd you do it? And she was like, well, he knew about me. This is the loose part of this story. When she was like, oh, well, he knew that I was running off to the other locations, and that she was scared that he was going to rat her out to her sister. So she had no choice. I don't look at him. He's like, you had no choice, so you had to kill him? That doesn't make any sense. And he just couldn't figure it out. And then she takes the gun out and she points it at him. And she's like, but now you know. And it's like, well, but then that still doesn't. And that he was confused. And then I had to pause because I'm like, I'm confused too. So what if he knows? What does it matter? Because, obviously Janice isn't going to do anything. And Jenny isn't going to do anything. There's too many J's in this. June, Jenny, Janice, and John. I was like, obviously, her sister's not going to do anything about it. So then what does it matter if John knows? Yeah, he was like the, aka sheriff of town. But even if he goes as, your sister killed the ranger guy. He was like, whatever. So this part really confused me. So she's like crying, no. So maybe what she was, because maybe he would tell Morgan. And that would be an issue. It's just that whatever. It happened very quick and it didn't make sense. And she started getting all emotional and crying. He's like, listen, you don't want to do this. Just put the gun down. Come on now. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, yeah, put the gun down. This is not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, poof, I hear a shot. And then I see that she shot him. I'm like, yo, this can't happen. This can't be happening. You just saw. No. This is not happening. Yeah, and especially where where he got shot, it looked like was at the top left shoulder. It looked right. It didn't look like it was right. Who knows? Maybe it was close to the heart, but it didn't look. No, it actually couldn't have been, or else he would have died instantly. So yeah, it looked alright. So he got shot, and then she just walks over and she just pushes him off the bridge. I was like, shit. It's one thing to shoot the guy, but then it's like trying to get rid of the evidence. Morgan's gonna ask a question. It's like, where did he go? But before we move on, man, Rich, what did you think when that shot went off and you saw John just got shot?
I figured, John is wounded now, but surely he'll be okay. But I was questioning as to, after you take this shot, how can you really work with this person and trust this person? And I was curious what was Morgan's reaction going to be once he found out about that. But then that escalated further because she pushed him into the river.
Yeah, she just pushed him over. Really cool scene. That was a really cool scene from the bottom, looking up, just seeing him sink down. And I mean, man, he sunk like a brick because you see him, he's like all the way at the bottom, and then he looks over and he sees that picture. It just so happens to land right next to him, and he grabs it. And then he rises up and he said something to the effect of like, it's not my time, or it's not yet, or something like that. And then he grabs onto a piece of wood and he goes floating down the river. And I was like, oh wow, so we have someone that disappeared off a bridge down a river on Walking Dead proper, which is Rick Grimes. And now Fear has their own version. It's going to be John. Is he also going to be in that movie? Is that what's going on here? It's like they're all going to sail down the river together and meet up and join us onto the crew of the movie. But so we see that, and I'm like, okay, he's going to survive, right? That's pretty much what it was telling us. It's like the fact that he could still talk and he seemed okay to himself. He was like, I'm not going to die this way, or I'll make it. So you see him go down, and it's like, all right, so it's what I figured. It's a shot to the shoulder. Yeah, but it didn't look fatal. So then we get back on the bridge. Morgan, where maybe he went to take a leak, who knows? He shows up, and he was like, he's like, hey, what's going on? Wait, where's John? What's going on? It's like, there was a problem, and there was. She just like starts stumbling with her words with things, and then just basically she pulls out her, what was it? Was it the gun or the knife? She pointed something. I think it was the gun at first.
Yeah,
it was a gun because then he did something. He got close and he wound up doing his move with his staff with his battle axe, and he had the bottom end right toward her. Was it the shovel? He had something pointed at her. Or no, I think it was the blade actually. To her
blade.
Throat. Yeah, he had the blade pointed at her, and he was ready to do her. And she's like, "You're not gonna do it," And she basically gave this whole runaround that she said it. She's like, "Yeah, I killed him. I shot him in the chest," which is not accurate. She didn't shoot him in the chest, but whatever. And then I pushed him, and he's sailing down the river right now. And that's when he spazzed out. He put the blade to her throat. And she's like, "You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. You need me. And also, I saved your life." And then she basically tells him that she was the person that saved him at the end of last season when he was in the barn. We should say at the beginning. These mid-season breaks always get me all jumbled up. So yeah, remember that he was in the water tower, and that she's the one that saved him. She's the one that gave him the antibiotics and all the resources and all that stuff. And she wrote the note. And the main reason why she did all that is because she knew that he was the only one alive around that can kill her sister. And again, I wanted to pause and like, no, the other person is the one you just shot and threw off a bridge. That's the part that I didn't make any sense, because you got one person, Morgan, who wants to wheel and deal to get his people of his group back and try to avoid conflict. You got the other one who's ready to kill everybody, including himself. But that's the one you kill? That's the one you shoot and throw off? That doesn't make any sense.
So,
yeah, go.
I agree. It doesn't make sense. And only thing I could think of is they want to continue to tell this whole story of when Morgan's struggling as to whether or not it's right to kill somebody. You know, obviously, if it's a walker, it's a different story. But it's a human person, it brings it to another level, because this is the same stuff he dealt with on Walking Dead, where he had that time when he didn't think he wanted to kill nobody, but then he still had to.
They can't bring that back. Come on now. We've seen him kill a bunch of people. We just saw him right before the midseason break kill 2 people up on the road. Yeah. Oh, man. No, we can't go down that road again. We can't have it where he's not sure about if he's ready to kill people yet, and that there's good in everyone. No, we can't.
No.
They better not bring that back. I mean, the one thing he called BS on her. It was like, oh, you're lying about all this stuff. She says she's not, but the one thing she's not lying about is that he does need her in order to get Grace and everyone else back.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, if Jenny knew all this, would she really still want Dakota back? I mean, Dakota just is trying to recruit people to kill the sister. So here it is. Jenny is all about just make sure my sister's okay. If not, I'm going to kill all your friends. I was like, yeah, that's funny, because your sister wants to kill you. So I don't, you know.
That's the irony of all of this, because yes, she wants to kill her sister, and meanwhile her sister is worried about this other group that we still haven't come across yet.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. To see where that goes. And then there was no mention of that in this one.
Yeah.
There was no mention of that. So this is where I was like, all right, well, this is going to be the end of the episode. That's what I'm thinking. I was like, all right, well, this is going to be, it's going to be a cliffhanger. No cliffhanger. Because then he gets on the walkie and he tells Jenny, he's like, hey, change of plans. We need help. We need somebody to go to look down the river. What are you talking? Look out on the river. And June jumps on the walkie. So what's going on? He's like, John got hurt. He's hurt. He's floating down the river. Right, so we need somebody to go get him. So they're further down the river already. I guess they were nearby, or no, they made it to the cabin. Now, see, that's the other again. The map. I need a damn map, because if you look at the bridge, they're coming from the right angle. They're from the right side, approaching the bridge. The stream is going down toward the left. So he falls down. He goes down toward the left. The cabin was further up toward the right from where the truck was. But yet, if he's floating downstream, and they, at that point, Jenny and June and 2 of the Rangers already had reached the rendezvous point, which was the cabin where John was, that's further up. How the hell did they... Because remember, once he says that, the 2 goons, Jenny sends the 2 goons to go find him. Go do something. Go take a look. Right? So they're trying to figure this out. But then Jenny looks out from the cabin and she sees the river, and then she sees a body there. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this, the location doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. No, you wouldn't be at the cabin. You would have to be further down. And whatever, man. Yeah, I get it. They're just trying to squeeze everything in. And if one of the writers was like, "Yo, what? Stop nitpicking. Stop looking. Just suck it up. Enjoy it." You know, I was like, I get it. I get the moment. Because here's the moment. This is the moment that hurt. This moment reminded me of, what was it, season 2, Walking Dead, when Carol saw her daughter come out of that barn.
Mm-hmm.
And just, like, crumble to her knees. I was like, no, this can't be. And that's what happens here. We see there's a body, and it's moving. So June goes running over, and it's like, John, and it's moving, and then she gets closer, and you hear the growls, and he lifts his head up, and yeah, he's converted. He's a walker. John did not survive the shot, and so he is dead. And she's there, and she's in shock, and she's sad, and the whole thing. Now, I think, and I've seen this in the comic, and it didn't happen then, and we've seen it, and I just mentioned with the Carolyn and the daughter situation when she got down on her knees. I'm waiting for somebody to just be like, you know what, I'm done. This was the love of my life. I'm ready to go. Take me, and let them bite them. Sort of like when you see, like, remember, was it The Walking Dead? That was it, not The Walking Dead. The Living Dead, the movie Living Dead, with the zombie that wanted brains, remember? And tells the girlfriend, and will it hurt just a little? I'm so hungry. And she's like, okay. And then lets him take a bite. Like, it got to that point because this is it. This was her husband. This was her life. This is what she wanted. And he's gone now. She knows he's gone. She already lost her daughter. Remember that whole heartbreak? This is a double heartbreak, and that was her whole reason for not wanting to get close. Remember, he kept trying to propose her and do all this stuff, and she's like, no, there's no point. I'm not doing any of that. And now she has to deal with another loss. So I was like, this is it. She's going to let John crawl on top of her, bite her, and they're just going to stay together as walkers. But no, that's not happening. She takes a knife out and just right in the head, puts him down. He's dead. He's gone. And that was it. That was it. End of the episode. John, the cowboy, the gunslinger, the sheriff is dead. I can't believe it. I can't. All right, so with the speculation, I didn't do too much digging on this. Maybe I should have, but I'm feeling that maybe the actor wanted to leave. That's one of the first things I told you after watching this episode. I'm like, well, maybe he wanted to leave because this was very sudden. This is usually something that you would build up toward. You know, it's like, oh, get ready for the next episode. There's going to be something crazy. You know, do something like that. There was none of that.
Yeah.
You know, it just happened. And that's something else I was talking to you about before this, is that we've seen that pattern happen with other actors that were about to leave the show, like with when Nick left, and how quick that same thing. They were just scavenging for some supplies, and all of a sudden Charlie shows up and pop, she shoots him and he's dead. Oh my God, we just killed Nick, one of the main characters, and just the oddest of circumstances. It wasn't that epic or anything. It was just very random. And even when the dad got shot in a helicopter, you know, that was very random. It was just a stray bullet from the ground that somebody was shooting at the helicopter, wound up piercing the bottom of the chopper and catching him and killing him. And there you go. So,
I mean, it certainly could have been that, and my guess is either that, or they are intending to bring back or add another character to the team at some point in time.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, the show's not getting canceled. It's not ending like Walking Dead, which is running its course next year. And in fact, no, starting August, right? That's the date. It's starting in August. They're going to kick that off. So looking forward to that. And they said, just like what I assumed, and we also, it's like the balls to the wall. They said we're going to see everything. They're going to unleash the hound. The budget, they said, is going to be ridiculous. They're going to put money into this. There's going to be all new sets. I'm sure the Commonwealth is going to be one of them. And the Commonwealth, even in the comic, was massive because it's huge. It has a football arena. It has buildings and stores. It's a whole community. It's not like Alexandria, not little houses and huts and shit. It's its own little city. I remember in the comic they said there was 15,000 people living there. Mm-hmm. So if they want to bring that to life, that's going to cost money. You know, actual set design and with the extras and all that stuff. So we'll see. But they said that's coming back in August. But until then, we got some fear, and man, this was big. This was big. This was big. I really wasn't expecting it. I'm shocked because he was a great character. He was a great character. Everyone loved his gunslinging skills. You know, this is the Red Dead Revolver Redemption John Marston. He's a badass with the gun.
Oh yeah, a great character that especially thrived in this particular way that they're doing the show, where it feels like it's a Western.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it certainly was a shocker. I will say though that I am glad that they did this, and again, this is what would separate it from the regular Walking Dead, because they they're not afraid to kill certain characters off the show. You know, you will never see Carol or Daryl get killed off of Walking Dead. So this is this is a big one, and it's going to definitely have implications moving forward for the whole group, especially June, Morgan, and how they interact with Virginia, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and then right now Morgan doesn't know. The last thing that he does know is just that he thinks there's going to be some problems going on with Jenny, because he does get on the walkie-talkie, and that's where we get the quick glimpse of Al and Dwight back at their little compound area over there, and he tells them, "Say, hey, yeah, all right, I think we're going to have some issues. I think they're going to be coming at our doorstep. So I think we're going to have a brawl. Some stuff's going to go down." But man, and the funny part I didn't bring up, but it was really funny when Dakota was like pointing the gun. The stuff that she was just rattling out, and she was like, "You still going to bring me with you? I'm still going to live with you in your community." I was like, "Are you crazy? Are you crazy?" Because you had Morgan just call this guy earlier in this episode. He called John his best friend. Mm-hmm. You just killed his best friend. Yeah, if it wasn't that Grace and the baby and everybody was still trapped up with Jenny, man, I'm pretty sure Morgan would have just took her out, just killed her right there and dumped her over. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's like, you damn evil kid, you know. But all right, people, that was it. That was season 6, episode 8, The Door, Fear the Walking Dead. Man, I'm looking forward to this. I'm glad it's back. I'm glad. I'm curious to see what happens. I'll look on the dirt sheets, and next time maybe we'll jump into some of the rumors of some past characters coming back from the dead to come back. You know, and I was thinking that when you mentioned of some of those characters, and I was thinking, you know, what if they come back as like flashbacks?
That's possible,
right? Or let's say Felicia starts hallucinating and starts seeing her mom that way. You know what I mean? If that's who the rumor is of who they're going to bring it back. I mean, hey, it worked in Dexter, right? All those seasons with his dad. So anything is possible. So there you go. Enjoy, keep watching. If you're not up to date, then you've just been spoiled, because we're all up there. But you know what? We were telling a buddy of ours, Carlos, as you know, who covers Walking Dead with us. He's still a few seasons behind on Fear. And we're like, really? Yeah, everyone's dead from the earliest seasons. There's only a handful of people, and everything has changed. The story, the location, everything, especially from the start of this season with what was going on. So it's simple enough to just jump in and you'll be fine. All right, everybody. We will see you for the next episode. Peace.